Just a short time ago, we learned 3 bodies were pulled from the rubble overnight. That brings the death toll to 4. Search and rescue crews have been working around the clock. Officials now say 120 people are accounted for. 159 are unaccounted for at this time.
Chopper 4 was over the scene early this morning as crews continue to search for victims under a mountain of debris. Rescue crews and first responders have worked through the night despite some very difficult conditions.
We have team coverage this morning from rescue efforts to the families waiting news of their loved ones. We begin our team coverage with CBS 4's Brooke Shafer live from the scene with the latest. And Brooke, earlier we heard from Miami-Dade Fire. They say they were bringing heavy machinery in to start working from beneath the rubble. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, all morning long, really, Maribel, we've seen search and rescue crews using that machinery. They have been sifting through the debris, but also you'll see it's very smoky out there over by all of this rubble. That's because there have been several fires that have ignited amid the rubble, but firefighters just told us moments ago that those fires have not stopped their search and rescue operations. It just means that firefighters do have to spend some time pouring water onto those fires and getting those out. We do have some new daytime aerials, though, of this scene to show you. And as we look at these aerials, we can really start to sort of sink in the magnitude of all of this. And that number you mentioned earlier, Maribel and Francis, of the number of people still unaccounted for. That number, unfortunately, going up overnight. At last check, yesterday afternoon, officials told us 99 people unaccounted for. As of this afternoon, as of about 30 minutes ago, we were told 159 people now unaccounted in this condo collapse.
Unfortunately, this has been a tragic night. We do have 120 people now accounted for, which is very, very good news. But our unaccounted for number has gone up to 159. In addition, we can tragically report the death count is now 4. I want to be very clear about the numbers. They're very fluid. We'll continue to update you as we have them, but we have confirmed 4 deaths.
And this, at this point, still a search and rescue operation, though, here in Surfside, and obviously a massive search and rescue for all of the firefighters here in South Florida as well. We are told there are dozens of firefighters as part of this operation, and they have told us that this is a very delicate search and rescue. As they search through all of this rubble, they have to be incredibly meticulous as they are digging through, searching for survivors. Definitely a difficult task. The mayor spoke about this just moments ago.
This work is being done at extreme risk to these individuals. Debris is falling on them as they do their work. We have structural engineers on site to assure that they will not be injured, but they are proceeding because they are so motivated and they are taking extraordinary risk on the scene every day.
Extreme risk, no doubt, for all of the search and rescue crews out here. So again, one more time, the very latest numbers here in Surfside. We're told 159 are unaccounted. About 120, though, are accounted. Still a very long search and rescue ahead. But the good news at this point, they say this is still a search and rescue operation. Guys?
You're right. The mayor did reiterate that just a few minutes ago. And Brooke, yesterday you were one of the first on the scene. You saw all the firefighters arriving there just minutes within. We also heard from the fire chief also a few minutes ago. He says that Miami-Dade Task 2, which are probably one of the best in the country, they will be arriving in a short time. Have you been able to see them to assist?
We have not. We were actually, so we went over to that press conference and we haven't been able to see them just yet. But I will say, you know, absolutely all of the resources that you would want to see at a scene like this, they are here. They are working tirelessly to sift through the debris. And like I said, being incredibly meticulous about it, because the fire chief said yesterday, you know, if you move a piece of debris, that can kind of shift things. And so they have to be careful that they're not shifting too much. And while they're doing this, they also have special equipment to help them listen to some sounds as they dig through this rubble. And the fire chief said throughout the night into this morning, they are hearing sounds. But I do want to point out that that doesn't necessarily mean there's somebody talking in the rubble. The fire chief said that these sounds can be anything like, steel, falling debris. It can be part of the rubble itself. So that's something that they do take into account. But I asked him, I said, are you still hearing these sounds as of this morning? And he said, yes, they've been nonstop. And so they are using that to hopefully try and locate more people amidst this catastrophe here.
And Brooke, tell us a little bit more about the state of the first responders. Daniela Levine-Cava, our mayor, mentioned a lot of these first responders are having to be pulled away off their shifts because they're just so desperate and passionate about the situation, wanting to help. I mean, you've been at that scene all morning long. You were at the scene all morning and really afternoon yesterday. Are you seeing a lot of the same faces? I know we've talked about some shift changes, but I'm imagining a lot of people there, first responders, wanting to stay and help.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine that, they are not wanting to go home without a resolution. I think everyone is hoping for some answers here. And yeah, the mayor mentioned at the press conference, earlier this morning that they are actually having to pull some of these firefighters off of their shifts and tell them to go home and get some rest because, this, like she said, is being done at extreme risk. This is not an easy task for anyone, and it's certainly difficult as well because of safety aspects. When you look at these aerials and you look at the video of the destruction, now imagine you have search and rescue crews climbing this rubble. They are sifting through the debris. They are looking for any survivors, and it's still unclear whether or not it's safe for them to do that. They did mention, though, the mayor said there are engineers here walking through with these firefighters, making sure things are okay, but no doubt, definitely some extreme risk involved here. And yeah, it seems those firefighters not wanting to go home without a resolution. I think all of us can certainly understand that.
Understandably so. I mean, this is their hometown. These search and rescue crews that travel around the world are called in. They were called into the World Trade Center, to hurricane relief and these rescues. So now they're doing it here in their hometown. So it's hard for them to be pulled away. That's why they're bringing additional resources to help. We also heard the chief, Brooke, talk about the rescue efforts. They're doing it from below, but also from above. We've seen a lot of dangling, the balconies. They're trying to secure that. What are they doing with that could be very also dangerous for them?
Well, yeah, they're sifting through all of this, and like I've been saying, if you move one piece of debris, that could sort of shift everything else, and so they have to be extremely careful with their footing as they're moving pieces around, and so that's also why they're going to be listening for sounds, and again, that doesn't necessarily mean that there is somebody yelling. It doesn't mean that there's somebody talking. Those sounds can be debris or rods or stuff like that, or some steel. So, but yeah, definitely extreme risk, like the mayor said, and they have to be extremely, extremely careful as they're going through and looking for survivors. And no doubt that number has to be weighing on them as it is weighing on all of us. 159 people now still missing here in this condo collapse.
And of course, our prayers go out to all the first responders, everyone who's been out there for more than 24 hours. We pray for them and we give them the strength that they need. Brooke, thank you.